Okay. All right. So Alka, we're recording and we're ready to start. And why don't you just tell me what's on your mind and what you think you might want some help with. Start wherever you like.
Thank you. Okay. Right now, like as of today, when I scan myself, it's about being a little bit disappointing of not staying true to myself a lot of times and fall back sometimes in certain situations, like I don't ask for enough money, or I put myself into situations where I should say no. And I get a little disappointed about that because it's spinning in circles, and I would like to beam out of that and also become more financially free.
Okay, you're cutting in and out a little bit, but I think I got the gist of that.
Okay.
So one is just feeling disappointed in yourself for not being true to yourself sometimes.
Yes.
And was another one, another topic wanting to work on financial something or other?
I would like to have financial freedom, but for some reason, for many years now, I had no passion about regular vision, and also I didn't have a money passion at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to get out of that too. So maybe it's connected.
Yeah. Why don't we assume that it is connected? We don't know for sure that it is, but both of them are coming to the surface of your awareness right now. So let's, if there is a connection, let's intend to find that and work with both of them. Was there anything else? Or if we start with that, does that sound like a satisfying thing to do?
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of moving forward, so to speak, forward, but moving into more being me and becoming financially free and not get trapped back in old patterns. Yes,
Yeah.
that's.
So my attention first goes to those old patterns and the ones that you mentioned about, saying yes to things when you'd rather say no. Would you be able to give me an example, a recent example of a time that happened?
A recent example is someone asked me to take care of their house, and I didn't quite feel good about it. And I said yes. Plus, I didn't stand up for a price I would usually ask and left it kind of up to them. So it's a little fishy for me.
Okay. Well, isn't that interesting that that example does include both pieces that you mentioned about both finance and the disappointment?
Yes.
So perfect. So if you can take yourself back to the time that it was presented to you, this opportunity or this possibility of taking care of someone's house, and you felt, did you say sort of fishy about it?
Yeah, it's a place that it's coming up shortly. It's not didn't happen yet, but it's a place I stayed there before, and it was okay. But last time I already told myself it's the last time, and I said yes again.
Okay. So at the time you said yes, even though you had reservations, tell me what was going on at the time you said yes within you. What was going on? Because at some point, even though you were feeling no and you'd made the decision to not do it, at some point you pulled the trigger and just said yes. And what was that about?
Yeah, I thought, okay, it's on my way anyways, and I get some funds for it, and it's a friend of mine. Okay, then. Yeah, I felt responsible and also guilty if I would have said no.
Okay.
And to ask for more
Gotcha.
also that. right.
Even though your instinct and your desire was to say no, you found these rational reasons plus these, guilty feeling-based reasons to say yes. And you sort of collapsed into those reasons as opposed to just your pure knowing or your pure desire. Does that sound about right?
Yes, the pressure of doing a favor felt like something I should do.
Yeah. Well, I think
Often.
it's such a familiar and common experience to all of us to sort of give in to what we think is better for someone else and give up what's better for us.
Yes.
And that pressure actually is your own energy. This is your emotional pattern. This is a feeling state, an energetic state that comes up in you, right? When you are in that situation, which you've probably been in many times before. This wouldn't be the first time that happened. But would you like for that structure, shall we say, of your energy to be different so it wouldn't be in the way anymore when you go to make decisions that are best for you?
Yes, it affects many decisions. Also, charging for coaching clients, I sometimes fall back to old prices. Or yes, that'd be great if it changed.
Okay. Does it seem like you have anything else you'd like to say about that pattern before we actually start working with it?
It makes me sad and disappointed and a little bit frustrated, this falling back. And yeah, I would like to poof out of this and throw into new energy or field or universe. So.
Beautiful. Because absolutely, other potentials sit right here for you, and poofing out of that, like that phrase, is entirely possible. So even as you're describing it, you can see how many layers there are to it, how many emotional layers, because you've talked about disappointment, you've talked about guilt, you've talked about pressure. There's some aspect of self-judgment, right? When you look at the fact that you're falling into this pattern and you sort of criticize yourself for doing that. So that's a really rich, complex expression of the quantum field in the realm of an emotion that then drives your behavior. So as you're talking about it right now, can you actually sense that feeling as you remember having
Yes.
made in you?
Yes, and what's even more frustrating is I've been working on this the last 15 years on and off again and again, and it always comes back when I don't watch it.
Yeah. So let's see if this time it can be different than any of those other times.
Okay.
You're different. You know more. You've experienced more. You've expanded more than you've ever been any of those times in the past. Right now, I'm here with you, adding my intention and my connection to that same state from my side. So even though it seems like it's just yours, this is something you've been working with on your own and it only belongs to you. Because the two of us actually aren't separate from each other, we're bringing the presence that we each are to this, the structure. And we can just see what happens as we both bring our intention for this to shift and change permanently in a way that serves you moving forward, that allows you to be more of who you really are, more of who you want to be, more in alignment with what you want for yourself and how you want to spend your time, and more able to sort of withstand the responses that other people might have as you make these decisions. So as I say that, I can sense, changes happening. And all we really need to do is just maintain our awareness on that field of energy that you've had present as part of your daily experience, maybe that flares up from time to time, but which you're ready to move beyond. And as we take our awareness there and simply observe it, allowing it to be what it is, being more present to it, having it at the forefront of our awareness, and especially for you, of your awareness, respecting it for the experiences it's brought to you. It's actually been your partner. And now it too shares the same intention to evolve into something new. And we're not trying to force it to change. We're just witnessing what the possibilities are for that energy to reshape itself in form and presentation and in the way you relate to it. And we don't know what's happening, how it's happening, but we do know that your intention is a pure one, to be more of who you are in the decisions that you make in the future, and to allow that being of who you are, bringing more of who you are into expression in the world, can also result in greater financial returns, because they are so connected. So as I say that, if there's anything that you're noticing on your end that you want to share, describe, feel free. If not, you don't have to.
It makes me smile, and it started to, when you started talking, it was like a magician lifts a field and makes it all lighter, and I get there's some sort of love feeling, and I'm going like, yeah, Wendy, I know you can do this. It's kind of goofy what we're doing, but I know it works, and it would be like, God, really? And it feels lighter and lifted, though I had in my mind come, yes, this is going to be permanent, or when we hang up, the field drops again. So my intention is to keep it up.
Well, let's watch that space then next. Just that
Doubt.
that doubt that it could be permanent, or that this could be the new default for you. So you can actually watch inside your consciousness to see there's a part of you that would be expecting to hang up the phone or hang up from this call and have had this wonderful sort of uplifting experience. And then the love, I felt that too. Sort of descend to the background again, because that's happened from the sounds of it before. But let's together just watch that space where that would come back in. And rather than that happening this time, let's see, what would you love to have happen instead?
I feel like I'm in higher vibrations now with you. And I would like to protect those when I go out or surround myself by other people's vibes or being in other spaces during the day. That stays.
You said that this home sitting situation is still ahead for you.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of those, but that one is still ahead, yeah, next week.
So let's just bring that one to mind and see what happens to this high vibrational state that you want to maintain in all circumstances, as you said, going forward. Let's see if just in imagination now, as you practice the thought of going there and then picture yourself there. Let's just see what happens.
It's in and around me, but though that what's pressuring me is a big hole in my stomach that's kind of pressured about that, because there are a few things that are not so optimal there.
Right. So
it might just be my imagination and fear that it's there, but it might actually be there. It's in me though.
Let's see. So you described it as a hole.
Yeah, like a little pressured ball. It is.
Yeah. So let's just both take our awareness there to that pressured ball, which you don't know whether it's fear there or not. Let's just see what we can discover about that right now. What is there if you take your awareness to that hole, that pressured ball, just with curiosity to see, does fear come out? Does something else come out?
It's like all the excuses why I can do it, but it's not really good. I keep there firm instead of letting it go, and yeah.
You're keeping that there?
Right now I do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's moving, but right now it is.
Let's just sit and see what happens. If you've been keeping it there, there's probably a reason that made sense to you in the past to keep it there. Do you know why you would have kept that there when it's, caused you to?
Because that's my last thing, how I can function in this world. Because when I'm by myself, I'm usually fine. Though when I have to function in the world, I feel like I have to protect my inner core, so it fits in there. Really, I don't want to go to certain places anymore.
Yeah. So if you were to let that go, would you feel unprotected then?
If I would let it go.
Because
I
often,
feel, I feel naked because I can't use it on my side to quickly lift that up again. So I'm like, so I get a bit stressed how to get it back. Like,
well,
well, when the
according
angle
to
drops, how
somebody,
do I get it back? Yeah.
it sounds like it's very common for all of us when we have an emotional pattern that we say we want to be rid of, but then it keeps sticking around. It's because you actually have two intentions that are opposite to each other. One is to be more of yourself and stop doing these things that disappoint you, like saying yes to things you don't want to say yes to.
Yeah.
But then when you get to the core of that, you have kept that little ball of excuses, as you put it, as a way of protecting yourself when you go out in the world. It's your way, it's been your way of relating.
Exactly. And of functioning, yes.
Yeah. And so when you see those two powerful intentions, you know, side by side, they seem to be opposing. And so it explains why for 15 years you sort of let it go, but then you keep it there because you're back and forth. Does that sound about right?
That sounds completely right, yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, on one level, here's your intention to be more of yourself, and here's your intention to stay protected and safe. But both of those um, sit within the bigger you. Sense? Both of
Yes.
those are experiences you don't have to choose between because you contain both of them. And the larger being that you are doesn't have to decide between them. Does that make sense?
Yes, but it doesn't feel really good, that ball there. It feels like the good vibes you now created are around all over the place, and in the middle is this ball, and it's do I just wait till it's integrating into the magic vibes?
Yeah, so all we need to do is just to take your awareness sort of back a level and notice the you that's, so you actually are there. You can feel the good vibes that you describe as being here, and then the bad vibes at the core.
Yeah.
And you have moved back beyond the identity that's trying to choose between the two. And so now you and I are just going to sit in that more distant, detached space of awareness. This is the you that isn't, that's neutral, that's bigger than all of that. That's
Now
not,
it's gone.
hmm?
Now it's gone. It's gone now. I had a sigh and it's gone. So let me check on my doubts.
Check on your doubts. That's a great idea. Go through in your mind, you know, the doubts that normally occur. See what's there.
It seems I got myself back in good vibes now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So should we test it out with the situation that we started our conversation with,
Yes.
which was you said yes to house sit at the home of a friend when you really had decided earlier that it was the last time and you would say no. And you said yes because of that ball of pressure that was so filled with guilt and, you know, all that stuff that you described. And now you've done some beautiful work in awareness of expanding beyond that inner conflict, and you felt all of it lift. And so now, when you look at that situation, which is still ahead of you, what do you see? What do you feel?
It doesn't really matter what I do. It's fine. I can go, I cannot go. I'm going to have a good time. I know. I'm going to meet new friends. I know already. I'm going to meet up with some people I haven't seen for a while. Yeah, it's fine. And I know there's one grandfather who I have an issue with. So maybe that was the boy. But
Can you say that sentence again? Because you were fuzzy on that one.
there's a grandfather living next door who's showing up sometimes, and I kind of try to reject him from inside myself. So he doesn't bother me too much, but that's probably what I did, and now it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So even with that, when you think of the grandfather living next door that you pushed away, anything of that ball of self-protection arise in that hard spot in the center again, or what happens?
No, it's gone. And even though if he shows up every day and bothers me, yeah, so what? Yeah, so what? But still, I would like to find healthier situations next time.
Yes.
So
still you can find healthier situations next time.
yes, I said yes now, and I'm gonna stick to it.
So can we practice that? Let's say you leave this place and it's your last time, even though you've had a good time, and you're asked to come back. And what might you do?
Yeah, or maybe just imagine another place where I don't like it. So just
Imagine.
yeah, I just feel it, and then I speak up and say what I sense, or at least be aware of it myself. And if there's anything that's very drastic, I speak up. And also regarding money, I'm just going to speak up and test it and see what happens and practice it.
Mm-hmm. And there is practice to it, because not only have you energetically, sort of not pressed those boundaries, you haven't actually practiced the words probably.
Yeah.
To ask.
I'm in a situation right now too where I might need to ask for more because I had to do way more. And it's also, I'm going to speak up. So
do you want to practice that right now?
Right now?
If you want, don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I do that?
Yeah, how do you do that? So you made an agreement of money that you'd be paid, is that right? But now you want to ask for more?
No, they volunteered with giving me some, and now I had some issues with animals where I had to go to the clinic a few times and things like that. So a lot of hours. As for a second unstable connection.
So you had some issues with the animals that then required more of your time.
Medical care, yeah, and required more time. So I would like to just ask for more for some hours, yeah.
Okay. And do you already know how many hours or what amount you would ask for? You don't have to tell me the amount, but do you?
No, I don't, because it's not finished yet. I still have to go to the clinic a few times.
Okay. So any thoughts? So how will you decide how much to ask for?
Yeah, I wondered about that earlier. I guess I go by the hour and then just have a bonus I had put in more than was agreed to, and then I would need to be paid for that too.
Mhm. And so you'll be able to figure that out. And do you know how you would, ask?
Yes.
Would it be in person? How would you ask?
Would be by email.
Mhm.
Sounds all easy, so it's easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you figure out how much is the amount to ask, and you'll express that in email. And there you go. So as you think
Yeah.
about doing that, asking for that money for the extra time that you put in that hadn't been anticipated, and you've calculated the hourly rate, and you have a way of expressing that to them, that you can take your time and email and phrase it the way you want. Is there any discord in yourself as you think about doing that, or?
Yes, there's a thing. I'm not so much in my brain anymore and think about things, so I'm trying to figure this out by mind, and that doesn't quite work. So I'm more like, let's see, the answer is not clear, so let's just wait when it's there and when it's time and when to write the end of the email, and then it'll come, I guess, because yeah, as they say, you can't make the grass grow by pulling it harder.
Your sound is
So
breaking
I
up.
think it's not very clear yet, but I'm just waiting till it is, and then I write it.
Beautiful. There you go.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So it's,
Yes, so I said I will just wait till the end, and it will become clear, and then I can't force it in our brain. So
yes. And I love that you said that, because what you just came to was your own way of knowing how to make decisions, which was clearer and more natural for you than the way I suggested, which was by anticipating and practicing. So you just actually did demonstrated the thing that you said that you wanted, which is just to be more you. And you did that right in this interaction. Does that make sense?
I guess so. Yes, I'm sometimes wondering if it's an escape, though if it's not clear and present, I don't have another way of getting it clearer besides waiting,
Right.
right? Or do I need to feel into my brain?
So I think you just wait and you trust that you know that you'll know when you know. And let me know.
Yes.
I'm fairly certain that will all come together and you will do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I look back over what we just talked about, it seems like we addressed both pieces that you brought that seemed different at the beginning, but were actually part of the same whole.
Yeah, in a way, they just all. It's a small example, but it all stands for tiny things, bigger things. You know, it's symbolic, really. This yeah, the doubt and the ball that there was, and the actual standing up for myself, and it's all the same in a way.
Yeah, it's not
Happens many
small.
times a day. So.
Yeah, that will have repercussions through so many choices that you make.
Yes.
Yeah, your life will be different.
Really?
Mhm. You can let me know. Different, and
Awesome!
we don't know yet how that is going to sort of ripple out in the things you say, the opportunities that present themselves and how you respond to them. So
Yeah, I'm curious, Wendy, because I didn't haven't been coached by you in this way. And so now I'm curious. And so did we use the in deeper in a different way, or just by being?
glad you asked that question. I mean, I didn't describe it that way, but as we went, so in deeper is you invite up the feeling, which is we brought our awareness to where in your body you sense those energies or where in your being. So that was invite. During our discussion, you had the intention for that to change, but you also had the encounter intention for that to change, right? You had the intention for it to stay to protect you. So during that part of the conversation, you decided to move beyond that and just let it take care of itself. And a third step of the in deeper process to explore, and both of us did, just explored that energetic emotional pattern within the field as it was presenting itself to you, and we just observed what happened, played with it. That's the fourth step. So very seamlessly, we didn't do it step by step, but all we were doing was just being present to that pattern from the understanding that it's something that exists in the quantum field between you and I that was having sort of a dominant expression in your life. You allowed that to evolve, to match you, to meet you where you are now and where you want to go. And then the fifth step of the in deeper process is to recheck. And that's what we did at the end a few times by having you revisit a couple scenarios, and you could see how different you felt and what different actions now seem reasonable to take. That was a great question. Thank you for letting me just explain that for
And then you are holding the field with your intention, because it felt in the beginning like I get a medical injection of energy kind of thing. Is that like you intend to hold the field, or because I felt something really strong and like fresh energy? It was really nice.
Cool. Well, I see. Here's how I interacted with you. One is that you are Elke, having this human experience, but also at the same time, you are the field itself. So all potential, all energy, all possibility exists, and Elke's the voice of that. And so actually, before I got on the call with you, what I felt was a huge upsurge of love from the field for the expression that you are of the field. And remember when you were saying you felt love, that's what so sometimes for me, it's like I get a foretaste of what's ahead. So it's just a swell for me of holding that space and the intention for Elke to get the change that has been created for her, and just to give words or language or possibility to support you in letting yourself experience what you've placed here for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. That's quite a process in itself, your offer. It's good. I like it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And
very unique.
Yeah, so I'd love to know anything that that you notice on the heels of this in any way. You may still have some of that sort of sneak back in. One of two things will happen, right? One is you'll find yourself sort of feeling some of that, response again, that little ball of energy, but it'll feel so much more like lighter or more optional. You'll have the awareness that either you can go back down that road, or you can, divert your awareness and your decisions somewhere else, which will be so much easier to do. It'll, like this awareness shows up of, oh, I could do what I always do, but no, I'll do that. Or it'll come up and it'll start and you'll feel like, I know how this usually feels, but rather than having it build, it'll just kind of, whew, it'll collapse into nothingness. That's
and
what
the disappointment when I maybe say yes to something again automatically, then just change my decision, right? Otherwise on the
Yeah.
long run, that's not gonna
Yeah.
work, I guess.
Or, allow yourself to have said yes and then, later say, actually, it was the wrong decision. It's a no,
Yeah.
or whatever occurs. All right.
Okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wendy.
I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.